A bright screen flickers in the middle of a quiet room. One small notification begins to pull focus away from the task. The coffee cup sits cold and untouched on the table. Unfinished work remains as the mind drifts toward a new distraction. Several browser tabs remain open like doors left slightly ajar. Each one demands a tiny portion of available mental energy. A simple question leads to an hour of aimless searching. The original goal is lost beneath layers of irrelevant information. Hands move over the keyboard without producing any real results. This rhythmic clicking creates a false sense of being productive. Outside the window, the sun moves across the brick wall. Time passes while the internal focus remains scattered and thin. Digital noise fills the gaps where deep thought used to live. The silence of the room feels heavy with unsaid words. Each link clicked is a small debt paid to curiosity. Eventually, the cost of this attention becomes too high to sustain. A deep breath is taken as the posture begins to slump. The body mirrors the exhaustion of an overstimulated mind today. The desk surface is now covered in small reminders of tasks. Every object represents a decision that has been delayed indefinitely. Looking at the screen feels like staring into a fog. Details become blurred as the brain struggles to find focus. The original intention for the day is now a memory. Following shadows is easier than building something of lasting value. A hand reaches out to close the laptop lid slowly. This physical movement signals a temporary end to the cycle. Darkness settles into the corners of the small office space. The silence that follows is not peaceful, but rather empty. Tomorrow seems like a chance to fix the existing friction. Yet, the habits of today often repeat themselves without notice. Small choices stack up like stones on a narrow path. Each one makes the journey slightly harder to navigate clearly. A finger swipes across a smooth glass screen again. The motion is so familiar, it happens without conscious thought. Colors on the display are designed to capture attention. They pull the eyes away from the natural world outside. Reading short snippets of text provides a quick hit. This shallow engagement prevents the mind from diving deep today. Information flows past like a river during a storm. Trying to catch every drop only leads to being soaked. A notebook remains blank on the corner of the desk. The pen rests beside it, waiting for a single word. The character looks at the clock on the wall. The ticking sound marks the steady depletion of the morning. Thinking becomes harder when the environment is cluttered with tools. The sheer number of choices creates a mental gridlock. A simple glass of water stands on the nightstand. It is a reminder of basic needs ignored during work. The character slowly reaches for the glass of water. Drinking feels like a return to the physical world today. Sunlight hits the dust motes dancing in the air. These tiny movements are more real than any digital stream. The feeling of being overwhelmed is a physical sensation. It sits in the chest like a heavy lead weight. Distraction is often a way to avoid difficult work. The mind chooses the path of least resistance every time. The character picks up a physical book from the shelf. Feeling the texture of the paper provides immediate grounding now. The room is filled with half-finished projects and ideas. Each one is a ghost of an intention left behind. Clarity comes when the noise is finally allowed to fade. This silence must be cultivated like a garden every day. The window reveals a world that does not require checking. Nature moves at a pace that cannot be rushed today. A hand picks up a stray pencil from the floor. This small act of order restores a sense of control. The character looks at their own hands in their lap. They are tools for creation, not just for scrolling screens. Concentration is a muscle that must be trained daily. Without constant practice, it begins to weaken and then fail. The light in the room changes from yellow to blue. Evening arrives with the same weight as the morning did. A phone is placed face down on the desk. This small boundary creates a safe space for deep thought. The air in the room feels lighter without the noise. Breath flows more easily when the eyes are finally resting. Deep work requires a descent into the quiet parts. There are no shortcuts to the bottom of the well. Every hour spent in focus is a victory today. It builds a foundation for the person we become tomorrow. The character slowly opens the notebook again today. The pen moves across the page with quiet intention. Distractions will always exist in our modern world. Our only defense is the choice to notice them. The mind is a landscape that requires maintenance. We must clear the weeds before they take root. A single deep breath resets the internal clock. This pause is the most productive moment of all. The character slowly stands up and walks away. Leaving the screen behind is the first real victory. The hallway is long and filled with soft light. Moving through it feels like moving through a dream. Silence is not the absence of sound today. It is the presence of the self returning. This quiet space belongs to those who observe. Noticing these small patterns helps us remain present today. A hand brushes a small piece of lint. This focus on the small things is restorative. The mind finally settles into a state of calm. The fog of the digital world is gone. We are not defined by the information we consume. We are built by the thoughts we sustain. Returning to the desk feels different after a break. The tools are now serving a specific purpose. A hand touches the surface of the wooden desk. The connection to the physical world is restored. I see. One task is chosen with absolute and total clarity. This singular focus is a quiet superpower today. The world continues to rush outside the window. Inside this room, time has slowed down significantly. Awareness of the trap is the only way. Once the pattern is seen, it loses power. A small glass bead is placed in a jar. Every focused moment is a deposit in growth. The feeling of accomplishment is quiet and steady. It does not need a notification to exist. The evening light turns to a deep purple. The day concludes with a sense of simple peace. Tomorrow will bring its own set of distractions. We will be ready to notice them again. A single lamp is switched off in the room. The darkness is welcoming and filled with rest today. Dreams are formed in the space we protect today. A quiet mind is a fertile ground for growth. Growth is not a sprint, but a slow walk. We must be patient with ourselves every single day. The fog has lifted and the path is clear. Small choices have led us back to the center. Real clarity begins with a single moment of stillness. We choose to stay here as the world turns.